Welcome back to the Flat Earth Podcast. It is good to have you back. It feels like a minute since we had some me and you time. We've had a few podcasts since the summer kind of break. We did kind of a pre-recorded one about the mob events I do. We did another mob event this week, which was just freaking outstanding. Last week I had my good friend from Essex, Nathan Blackaby, Harlow born, Harlow bred. And that's great. You can check both of those out on the podcast channel. And don't forget that the podcast also is just audio only on Spotify. So you can get it on there. On that note, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a solid. Make sure you like, subscribe, press the little bell icon, select all. Comment in the comments. That's what comments are for. I mean, what are you doing in the comments if you're not commenting? Comment, you know what I mean? It ain't hard. Just so you know, in case you've missed it, uploads are now every Monday. We try and get the podcast out by about 10 a.m. It's going to be a little bit later today because I'm recording this right now and it's 9 a.m. So it's going to be a bit late today, but hey, it's been a busy weekend. I went to like fireworks and stuff. More about that in a minute. But yeah, every Monday podcast, video and audio go up. Video on YouTube, audio only on Spotify. And then on Monday evening, about 6 o'clock, our sister channel, our brother channel, our other channel, the ABC of EDC, goes up between 5 and 6 Monday night, which is a great channel. Get into it for all your everyday carry needs. But we're doing something different. We're not as gung-ho as some other EDC channels. So we're kind of messing with the margins a little bit of everyday carry. But anyway, check them out. Anyway, what's been going on with you guys? What's happened? I guess it's been a pretty uneventful summer. There's not a lot going on in the world. There's no big things happening or that have happened in the UK. It's been very kind of quiet here. Now, of course, the big thing that happened since the last time we spoke like this was the death of the Queen of England. And I will talk about that a little bit because I've found some interesting stuff in there. But things carry on largely as they always have or have been in a while. Every time I do one of these podcasts, I think that things can't get worse from the last one, and the world keeps generating new shitness, which is just very impressive that they managed to pull that off. I don't quite know how, but anyway. So yeah, the Queen died. Now, I know maybe this is a bit old now. Maybe the coverage in England, at least, I don't know about worldwide because I'm not worldwide. I'm just here, England, right? But the coverage in England was crazy. Just wall to wall, door to door, from dawn till dusk, coverage of the Queen's life and then the Queen's funeral. My wife, on the Monday of the Queen's funeral, said, yeah, I want to watch the funeral. And I was like, whatever, man, because I'm not really that into it, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not a royalist, right? Some people are royalists. I'm not really a royalist. And I'm not really like, I'm not really a Republican. I don't know what I am, right? I've lived my life like this. Queen, royal family, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. You can be on the money, as long as I've got some money to spend, I'm good. Like, I'm not bothered, man. I'm not really that fussed. She seemed like a nice old person, just like any other nice old person that you see like at the shops, or queuing for stuff, or falling over in the park, whatever, man. She just seemed like a nice old woman like anyone else. And I know lots of people have got lots of different opinions about her and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'll say all that to say this. My wife said, I want to watch the Queen's funeral. And I thought, okay, whatever. So she did that. But I thought it would be like an hour, right? 10 hours. My wife and my kids watched it for 10 hours. Like, she started at like 9:30, 10 in the morning. And it's finally coverage finished at like 7 p.m. or something, man. Just what? Like, just, I couldn't believe they were just watching this thing. And I kind of dipped in and out. I made lunch. I was doing bits and bobs and running errands and, I don't know, doing whatever I do. Filming stuff, taking some photos, just daydreaming, picking my nose, doing whatever I'm doing. And I dip in and out, and some interesting things happened. I mean, some people love the pomp and ceremony. You can keep it. I really don't. I'm not really up for gold carriages and marching soldiers and that, although it's quite impressive. Although, did you see, I hope you've seen this, there's a man that has been labelled the tall man. Not tall, as in very large, like, because during the parade, of which it just went on for hours and hours, of soldiers marching, and of drummers drumming, and of horses pooing, and then of everyone else pretending not to look at the poo and having to walk through it because they're just marching and stuff. Anyway, in the midst of all that, there's this guy who's been labelled the tall man, because out of all these rows of carefully curated, very, very well manicured, very well kind of, presented soldiers, there was a point in the parade, the march, I guess, where this man comes on scene and comes on your screen, whatever you're watching, and he is head and shoulders above everyone else. I don't know if you saw this guy, right? Just tall. Turns out his name is Paul something, but he's known as Tall Paul because of course he is. And we were shocked, like, who is this? Like, who is this guy? I heard a couple of friends of mine were meeting, and they said, who is this guy? Is he a Nephilim? If you know what a Nephilim is, Nephilim is like this weird, like, there's this weird story in the Bible of like angels who like with women, and it produced these race. What's the story goes? It produces, I don't know about this. Produces this race of like super tall people. This guy's like the Nephilim, man. Nephilim, British soldier guy. Queen kind of attendant guy, Tall Paul. And the thing that marked me out, right, and here's the thing, right, you got a guy who's very, very tall. So what we're going to do, we're not going to try and hide him. They're going to hid him amongst the horses. They could have put him in amongst the pack maybe, but they stick him right out on the edge of the marching line, so he's very, very obvious. But it wasn't Paul that really caught my eye. Tall Paul, yeah, he's tall. It's impressive. I've seen tall people before. I'm relatively tall, I guess, at 6'1" or whatever. I don't know. I'm probably average. What caught my eye, and this is, I don't want to be mean, but seriously though, was the guy behind Tall Paul. This guy. This guy. Because here's the thing, man. This guy has to be the ugliest guy in the military. Now, I'm no oil painting, right? I understand. I'm not like a good looking man. I'm not like classically chiseled. I understand, right? I got ginger hair. I got glasses. I got a gap in my teeth. Do you know what I mean? I got like a fuzzy beard that really needs some manicuring at the moment. I understand that. I understand I'm no looker neither. But this guy looks like an orc. He looks like an orc or a zombie orc. And but here's the thing. Again, you got Tall Paul. You could have hidden him in the pack and he wouldn't have been as obvious. But then you got this guy, man. Okay, you got Corporal Funny Face, right? This poor guy, right? I mean, this poor guy, face of an orc, ears of the BFG. It is not a good day for him. I imagine any day. But they put this guy behind the tallest guy. So here's the situation. You've got the tallest guy drawing the most attention, and behind him you put someone who is unusual. He's unusual looking. He's striking. And this is kind of the days I have. You know, this feels like a situation I would be in where, do you know what I mean? If something's going wrong, do you know what I mean? I got ketchup down my shirt for some reason. I've like the other day, like I was going somewhere and I was playing with my dog Frowen, and he jumped up and he scratched my face. I got a big bloody cut on my face, and I had to go out and like go on the tube in London and stuff, looking like little ginger Scarface, you know. This guy has my kind of day. Not only are you like already like, you know, like I guess you have to accept your face. We all do, right? But you know, like, you know, maybe he's a little bit paranoid. Maybe drawing a line around him now is being a little mean. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be mean, brother. I'm sorry, but we got to be honest, right? So not only are you struggling with that, but they put you behind the man who's going to draw the most attention, who the cameras are definitely going to go on, and people are definitely going to talk about. So you got the tallest, most striking man, and then behind him, you got the orc guy. Bad times, poor guy. Give both these guys a medal. That's what they should have done. They should have like got the Queen to where she wants, parked her up in the Abbey, and let her sunk in the ground. And I don't know if you saw that. The coffin went down the ground. It was kind of exciting. Give these guys some medals, man. Tall Paul, an orc guy. They need Urukai man. They need some like medals and stuff. Anyway, so the Queen's dead. The thing that struck me about the Queen dying is people queued up for hours. That's 17 hours. overnight. People travelled worldwide to come to England to go to view the Queen in state, right? The coffin, not even the body. You know, like weird popes in the past and stuff, they had like their actual bodies on show for like a couple of weeks or whatever, right? You go there, you can see the waxy features of some dead guy, right? But the Queen was laying in state, so she's in a coffin, if she's even in there. We don't know what was in there, man. There could have been a couple of corgis in there, a side of ham. We just don't know. But we're told the Queen is in there. And people queue up, and there's a massive queue all the way through a park in London and streets and roads. They're all cordoned off and carefully organised. So you could walk by and just you stand in front of the Queen, you do a little nod or a little curtsy, whatever, and then you've done your job and you're off. And all kinds of people queue. Even David Beckham joined the queue, you know. And they were interviewing people in the queue and like, why are you doing this? Why are you giving up like 2 days of your life? Why are you camping out? Why are you standing for hours and hours upon end just to walk by the Queen? And it was really interesting answers people gave, because the answers people gave were like, you know, she's the only Queen I've ever known. This is a historic moment. I'll never get to do this again. She reminds me of my mum. She reminds me of my grandma. Whatever. And I realised, like, I was mocking it at first, like, these stupid people, like, come on, man, seriously, like, she's dead. You know, at first my view was very dismissive, and I can get like this, I can get a bit dismissive, you know, it's one of my flaws, right, of which there are many. And I was like, look, man, this 96-year-old woman, been a billionaire her whole life, and yeah, she had to work, and there were moments, we all have moments of struggle, right? Struggle is relative to us all, but some struggle she never had was, where's the meal coming from? Where's the money coming from? Can I fly there, go there, do this, do that, see them, do this, meet them? She always had everything open to her. So my first thing was like, let's not feel too sorry for her. Plus, she reached 96, right? So, hey, she must have lived a pretty good life, because most people don't make it to 96. You've got to have quite a healthy life and done quite well and not drain the battery too much to reach that peak. But on that thing, there is an element here where the Queen of England failed, because it's my opinion, if you get into your mid to late 90s and then die, you're a bit of a failure, man. So she was 96 when she died. She's like 4 years off a ton. Like, if I reach 96 and then don't get to 100, my life is forfeit. I failed. Anyway, sidebar. So people were talking about, you know, I was dismissive about it, like, these stupid people, why are they doing this? Why are you queuing up, you idiots? Why are you just for a moment to bow? Some guy tried to run at the coffin. He got arrested and got took around the back off camera and beaten up by the police, I imagine, Royal Guard and that. But then I realised what it was. Then I realised, because I put the Queen's death in context of the times we have been living in. We've been going through a time of massive upheaval in authority in the world and in leaders in the world. These last few years have shown us who we can trust and who we cannot. These last few years have crystallized the gap between a promise and a fulfillment. What a politician or leader or person will say and what they'll actually do. And let's be honest, for the past few years, when it comes to our leaders in the world, at whatever level, we have seen that they are massively inconsistent. They're massively inconsistent. They don't do what they say. Yeah? The collar doesn't match the cuffs. It's like, you know? And the Queen, whatever you want to say about this woman, whatever you want to say she did or didn't do, represented or didn't represent, what she was a symbol, an emblem, a motif of consistency. Consistency. Right? Integrity. She did what she said. By and large. By and large. That's what people were reacting to. People were reacting to a need for consistency, for people to be on the inside as they are on the outside, and on the outside as they are on the inside. And she was a picture of that, as we saw her, as we knew her. We didn't really know her. No one really knew the Queen except her inner circle, right? like all of us. No one knows us except our like inner people. Yeah, you know what I mean. But that's what she was. Consistency. And for a moment, you realise that the heart of people, they long for consistent leadership, consistent people. We all do. We gravitate towards people in our life who are consistent, who are always there for us, who will follow through. That's what we long for. And if we as people are trying to do anything, that's what we should be longing to be. Those kind of people, right? Consistent, integral people. You know what I mean? But here's the other thing I noticed, because a few days before the Queen died, I don't even remember that world, because while this was going on, from the moment the Queen died up until maybe 2 days ago, what is it like? It's like the 24th today or something. The world was a very different looking thing if you were to take a snapshot of all media. There was a war raging in Ukraine. Thousands of people fighting for their lives. There was a massive energy crisis. People, you hear this all the time, it seems to be a phrase that the people like to say, people are going to have to choose between heating and eating this winter. Your money's not worth nothing. You can't get no interest rates. Your bills are about to treble. Filling up your tank with petrol or diesel is like having a mortgage payment now. It's crazy. Shops, restaurants are having to close early or shut completely because they don't have the staff. People don't want to work no more. Weird. Everywhere I go, short staff. All summer long, we're in holiday. There's places closed, places shutting early. They don't have the staff. I was walking home from a shop near me, and there's a pub, a local pub to me called the Hedgehog. Never been in there. It's the kind of place full of individuals with like wonky eyes and massive muscles and tattoos across their face and scars. And the men are even worse. Love the old jokes. Never go there, but they have a billboard. They're obviously trying to drum up a bit of custom at the moment. They had a billboard the other day, and it said it was like bingo, and there was like a UB40 tribute band coming on. And then amongst the poster, it had this thing saying, meat raffle. Meat raffle. I'd never seen this. Have you ever seen this? I'd never seen this before. Meat raffle, it said. And I was like, what the fuck is a meat raffle? And then I looked a bit closer on, I took a photo, I'll try and find it and put it up. It said traditional meat raffle, win meat and other prizes. And I was like, wow, what an interesting time we're living in, when the thrilling thing to draw people in is to win meat. Now, apparently, these are things that have they've been around before, but I've never seen one. I've certainly never seen one advertised as a way of drawing people to your establishment. Meat raffle. But then, so that was an emblem for me of like a picture of like, oh, this is where we are. The thing now is not to win money or a car, but meat, food. This is the prize. Can I win some food? It's crazy. And all this going on, the pressure, money pressure, work pressure, energy pressure, war in the world, conflict pressure. Is Putin going to use a nuke? Is that and the other? Meat raffles. But then the Queen dies. Cancel the meat raffle. The Queen is dead. And for the following days, all media dropped all stories except the Queen is dead. And again, worldwide, I don't know. I've been in England. You wouldn't know anything else was going on. Ukraine war? What? Where's Ukraine? What's going on? Don't even know. Energy crisis? Energy what? Cost of fuel going up? Don't know what you're talking about, mate. The Queen is dead. And we were saturated for days upon days with stories about the Queen, her young life, her old life, people reflecting on her, people who knew her, people who worked with her, who were knighted by her and whatever, did charity work with her and was with her through the ages. We had all these stories about this stuff, and it was like nothing else was happening in the world. And I realised the power of media and the power of perception. Cancel the meat raffle. The Queen is dead. Do you understand the power of perception, the power of how you look at something, how you view something? It's so overwhelmingly strong that just if you can move your perspective just here, it can change everything. And I realized how manipulated I am, because I'm worried about this fuel crisis. I'm worried about wars. I'm worried about stuff sometimes. You get on and it's like, oh no. But then all of a sudden my gaze was stolen from that and put over here onto the Queen. Now I should be worried about this. I should be thinking about this. Now we've got this king guy. You know what I mean? Like, who's this guy talking to plants and having affairs and being boring? He's got these puffy sausage fingers. I don't know. It's like a creepy thing. I don't know what's going to go on. You know, the family, royal family now in trouble. Now with the Queen's gone, we're just left with these bunch of scallywags, and we've got Harry and Meghan and who knows what. You know what I mean? She's vying. I tell you, she's going to sue or something. She's going to be Queen in about 4 years. You know what I mean? It's just going to go. That's the way it's going to go, man. We're going to have Queen Markle. You know what I mean? This is just how it's going to pan out. Perception is an interesting thing, because reality is not just about reality. It's about how you view reality. How are you able to shift your perception from one place to another? You see, how you view something changes it. There's and forgive me, I get this slightly wrong. There's a scientific hypothesis, theory, I don't know how you would frame it, but I call it, or I remember it as the theory of observation. Even by observing something, you change it. And it's that thing of like, you know, you try and film something. You leave a camera in the woods to film something, right? And then you retrieve the camera and you look at what's going on. Are you finding out what goes on in the woods when you're not there? Or are you just finding out now what goes on in the woods when a camera is filming? Do you get me? There's like a different thing going on. You can't really know. And I don't want to get metaphysical this early in the morning, and mainly because it confuses me. I get confused about which cheese to buy when I'm at the supermarket. And I always buy Cathedral City, so I don't know what I'm confused about. But just mature, extra mature, light, I don't know. It gets confusing. What I'm saying is, life comes at us and we all have a lens. And we have to be very careful, and particularly now, in this age, as life comes at us, how will we allow other people to offer us a lens? When I go to get my eyes tested, I've been wearing glasses since I was 9. They put different lenses on you, and they get these little things that are like lollipop lens almost, and they put it on your one eye, and they take it away, they turn it to the other side, then they put it back on, and they say, is it clearer now or now? 1 or 2? A or B? They get you to look at a chart, read a line of letters. Look at a red light and a red circle and a green circle. Which one is clearer? Oh, and they adjust your lens. All around us, TV, movies, music, social media, particularly social media, is the adjustment of lenses. Can you see now or now? Is it clearer now or now? So when they cancelled the meat raffle because the Queen was dead, and they shifted the whole media canon that was pointing at me, went from war, despair and shame, war, despair and depression, and turned to like, oh, remember this Queen, remember this monarch. I was like, wow, the power that if you were to ask for a superpower, if someone said like, you can have any superpower, like you would go, what would you go with? Flying, super strength, super speed, invisibility. They're all good, but really, the superpower to have, if you want to like really like, I don't know, be the boss, is the power to change people's perceptions, the power to change the lens on someone. I'm feeling a little bit like funny today. You know, sometimes you wake up, you feel a bit funny. I've been feeling it maybe for a couple of days. I think it's partly a tiredness. Like I say, we had this big men's event on Thursday, a mob. It's our 3rd one we've done this year, and it's fantastic, but it's a lot of work. I jump in the car and jump on the motorway, and like at 10 o'clock or something in the morning, and I eventually rocked up, got into my bed at 2:30 in the morning. So it's a long day, and I'm always very tired afterwards, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and maybe it's always taken place, but a bit like this morning, a bit meh. Now I've got a choice how I'm going to do my week. Will I embrace the meh, Will I say to myself, go easy, Rick, have a nap, stop and have a cup of tea? Or will I power through? Will I allow this kind of like lens to be the thing through which I view everything? Or will I stand up and say, no, bollocks. I've got stuff to do, stuff I want to do. In the podcast, first podcast back, I talked about the 8-week empty, and we're still doing the 8-week empty. We're still about that life. We're still about it. The 8-week empty. What if, and we're like 2 weeks into it now, what if we gave everything? What if we poured ourselves out in what we're doing? This is the target, right? Maybe what we all need to do is take hold of ourselves, take hold of our lens, our perceptions, and look at what are we drinking in? What are we drinking in? And how is it changing our view of things? Is it having us sign up to the meat raffle? Are we in despair? Is it having us celebrate the life of someone we never met? But all the while in there, is it manipulating our true longings? Because this Queen's death, it touched on, it reached into our true longing for people in our lives who are consistent, who will be there, who will be the same. And if we can't find those people, and we say this again and again on this podcast, man, if you can't find people of integrity, people of consistency, be one. Be one. Be a consistent person. Be a person of integrity. Be someone who is trustworthy. It's what I long for, man. It's what I long to be, and I struggle with it because I'm often very inconsistent, but I struggle to kind of do that and be that. Anyway, I'm waffling now. We will have another guest in studio this coming week. Got my man Shabazz El Graham will be back in studio talking all things tech. So that will be next Monday. I hope you are well. Bless you guys. I hope that wherever you are, things are looking up, and the lens through which you are viewing life is a good one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget tonight, ABC of EDC between 5 and 6. Later, yeah.